Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, the Communications Workers Union, CWU, is urging the Joint Trade Union Movement, JTUM, to actively defend workers' rights, despite the coalition the organization has formed with the government of Trinidad and Tobago. The official said the government is a UNC government with a coalition of interests, but whose interests are being served? As a matter of fact, we have a presence of labor unions in parliament, but they are on mute. CW Secretary General Joanne Ogier said during a lunchtime protest outside the Telecommunication Services of Trinidad and Tobago TSTT head office yesterday. Ogier emphasized that the CW remains independent and accountable only to its membership, questioning whether several government ministers who previously came from the labor movement and the JTUM president can make the same claim. My response, now of course, don't get me wrong, they are right to an extent. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't like to see politicians do that at all. You know, they would have been a very, very passionate activist when they were outside of government, and basically they just become yes men and very silent while in government. But in a case like this, I mean, maybe they have valid reasons for doing so. Certain things are being done because it's necessary. I'm just saying, maybe that's the case. So my response, the era of gladly tightening belts and making sacrifices for emperor and country has come to an end, my dear people. Patriotism will return in 2030 if the PNM wins, though. Now, don't get me wrong, I think the TSCT had a bit of protest and so forth and issues while PNM was in office. But what I'm amazed at seeing is how all these different unions are suddenly striking and protesting and demanding this and demanding that. They couldn't do that with Emperor Rowley, though. Rowley would have tell them, don't what the scene? You know what, right? Don't do the scene. Yeah, everybody used to have to humble themselves under the great Emperor Rowley, including the Kakash media. Kakash media that has become extremely aggressive, hostile towards UNC administration. Don't go anywhere. More local, regional, and international news up next. The Lady Young and Environs Foundation is turning vision into action. Founded by Sean Julian, the organization is empowering young people through mentorship, skills training, and community programs designed to build stronger futures. Its latest initiative is putting youth directly in the field, cultivating the next generation of leaders by introducing them to agriculture as a pathway, opportunity, entrepreneurship, and food security. And they're growing proper crops, real crops that people can consume, not the herb. But anyhow, besides putting that aside, this is what we need to do. We need to get our youth involved in more extracurricular activities and also training them to obtain certain types of skills and even in the agricultural sector in order to be able to sustain themselves and their families and have a career, and while also providing much needed food for citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. We need to invest a whole lot more in the agricultural sector. But besides that, getting back to what I've been saying for a very long time now, and I'm hoping at some point in time I will see it come to pass under the UNC, a lot more investment in building much more community centers throughout Trinidad and Tobago and repairing the ones that are already in existence and getting ongoing programs put in place so that we could get the youths off the streets and back involved in things that can be positive and can benefit them. So therefore that they will no longer be interested in joining illegal criminal gangs and losing their lives before they can even reach the age of 30. Minister of Public Utilities Barry Padarath says the government is moving aggressively to confront what it describes as a decade-long failure in the water sector. Now, of course, it's more than just a decade long. It's about 60 years, and every time UNC tries to fix the problem, people vote them out and put back the PNM to cause more problems again. But it was definitely the worst under Rowley for these past 10 years. Though. Speaking at Thursday's post-cabinet media briefing, he announced relief for constituencies soon, including emergency tank farms, millions in infrastructure upgrades, and new desalination plants, stuff that you weren't hearing taking place under the PNM. Everybody, all they were telling you to do is conserve on water, as I used to make the joke and say people had to be using a 2-liter bottle of water to bathe with under the PNM. And the patriots clapped and said, amen. You know, everybody, all the PNM patriots are complaining now, were gladly making sacrifices under the PNM. Even with the deplorable roads, they were saying, wean off the government, find a way to fix the roads for yourself. Now they want everything to be done by the UNC within the shortest space of time. They want the UNC government to fix 10 years of destruction within a few months.
Utilizing the data from WASA, having established these 4 tank farms over the last 2 months, we have moved from 4 water wagons in the constituency of Superior to now 18. And therefore, with the tank farms being resident in these communities, what it then allows for is a greater turnover in terms of delivery to persons in communities that traditionally would have suffered weeks on end.
He revealed that Cabinet has now approved the expansion of that model to other hard-hit areas.
So far, 4 have been identified for Moruga Tableland. Mayaro, 2 have been identified for them, and Kumoto Manzilila, 2 have been identified in that constituency as well. For the construction of these tank farms and operational costing, we are looking at $7.5 million in terms of investing in establishing these tank farms.
He noted that the locations have already been identified and WASA is at the stage of procurement. Meanwhile, the minister chastised the previous administration for failing to complete critical projects along the east-west corridor.
While it will be resident in the constituency of which is now Aruka Maloney, formerly Bonaire West, what you would see happening is that there will be a greater supply of water through the Bonaire West treatment plant.
And a major upgrade is also underway for the Freeport water treatment plant.
This upgrade of the Freeport water treatment plant will be at an estimated tune of about $20 million. WASA will be going through the procurement phase, but in terms of the first phase of the water treatment plant in Freeport, this will impact several constituencies.
He reminded that government is also moving toward desalination as a permanent solution, with 3 new plants planned for Tobago and South Trinidad.
That will alleviate a lot of the problems in the southern part of the island. That will give us a long-term relief in terms of a 24/7 supply in many instances, or at least a 24-hour supply every 4 days.
And he also addressed ongoing water complaints in Diego Martin Northeast, accusing past ministers of failing to act.
Knowing that he sat in a position that would have allowed these projects to come to fruition, that would have brought relief to constituents and citizens across the northwestern part of Trinidad.
Sonolala, TTT News.
For Saturday, April 4, 2026, Trinidad and Tobago can expect variable cloud cover with periods of showers and a low 30% chance of isolated thunderstorms. While the early morning may be mostly fair, a few pre-dawn showers are likely, particularly over Tobago and East Trinidad. Saturday, April 4 forecast summary. Conditions: variable cloud cover with periods of showers. Some showers may be moderate or heavy at times, especially over Trinidad. Temperatures: highs around 30 degrees Celsius to 31 degrees Celsius Piarco and 30 degrees Celsius Crown Point. Lows will settle around 24 degrees Celsius. Winds sustained at 10 to 35 km per hour from the ENE to ESE. Expect gusty winds in or near heavy showers. Hazards: there is a possibility of street flooding in the event of heavy downpours. Marine seas remain moderate with open water waves up to 2.0 meters to 2.3 meters.
Regional news now. President Dr. Irfan Ali has been lauded for his steadfast support of religious freedom and youth development by Pastor Exton Clark, president of the Guyana Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. Introducing the head of state to campus and church leaders at the opening of the Seventh-day Adventist Caribbean Union Conference Regional Campori, Pastor Clark described Dr. Ali as a statesman, a visionary leader committed to national development with a heart for God, who values people irrespective of class, color, creed, culture, or conviction. And bear in mind, I believe that Irfan Ali is what? A Muslim? But at the end of the day, it's not about that, you know. People fail to realize, and I've said that over and over again. A lot of these individuals have, in the Caribbean, they have adjusted to Western civilization values, and that's why a man like Irfan Ali can respect all religions. You don't have to believe in it. I'm a born-again Christian, and I don't believe in any other religion, ideology, but I do respect their rights to practice their faith. And that's exactly what Irfan Ali does. And he serves all his peoples, no matter which religion they belong to. I'm telling you, he's definitely one of the best leaders in our Caribbean region at this point in time. 6 months after Hurricane Melissa battered sections of Western Jamaica, hundreds of residents in Westmoreland are still struggling to recover. And for many, a simple food package is making all the difference. And this is why I continue to say the world, instead of just focusing on Gaza, where radical jihadists roam and reign, and take most of the humanitarian aid and keep it for themselves and then sell the rest to the Palestinian people, the Gazans, we should be focusing on spending a little more of that money on Jamaica, who's in actual need of help. With it being Easter this weekend, a time usually marked by family gatherings, church services and celebration many in the parish are instead facing the harsh reality of going without food, electricity, and stable housing. Canadian aid group Global Medic has stepped in once again, distributing 1,175 emergency food kits across affected communities, targeting some of the parish's most vulnerable residents. The person went on to say, my role is to help coordinate our aid delivery both internationally and domestically, said Madalena Monteiro, emergency programs officer with Global Medic. Canada, another white man country, helping Jamaica, and then everybody always continues to condemn the colonials. It's the same colonials that fought for your rights years ago in the first place, and the same colonials that fighting for democracy to this very day under the Trump administration. You'll still have a problem with the colonials. More than 100 police officers and possibly as many as 700 who were deployed during the February 11th general election in Barbados have gone nearly a month without receiving a payment for their duties, while civilian workers who perform their similar roles have already been paid, prompting the Barbados Police Association to warn of growing frustration within the ranks. I mean, have some little patience now, man. The administration always an old administration. Basically, they have to start from scratch all over again, you know, people. Give the woman a little blind, man. I think she's doing quite a good job. A lot of people here in Trinidad will be like, what's going on with you? No, yes, I know. I don't agree with me. I'm actually being a globalist. And I don't like how she doesn't really get along with our Prime Minister, Kamala Persad. But when it pertains to the performance in Barbados, so far, I could be wrong. Later on, within a few months, I will say I might change my mind. But thus far, I think she has been doing a reasonably good job in Barbados. And maybe that's why the people continue to vote for her in such an overwhelming manner. I mean, people, be fair. Let's be fair about things at times. Let's be fair about things all the time. International news now. New Jersey state troopers rescue an abandoned bear cub from the I-78 highway. Troopers from Perryville Station responded to an unusual call about a cub spotted in a roadside ditch in Union Township. The cub was safely transported back to the troopers' barracks and released to the Department of Environmental Protection for proper care, taking care of God's creation. Do people understand that? While, of course, we were given the permission to eat, but at the end of the day, the first thing God gave us commandment to do, He gave us dominion over them, and therefore He gave us the responsibility to take care of them, people. That was our first responsibility. President Donald Trump names Vice President J.D. Vance the fraud czar to investigate taxpayer fraud. His focus will be everywhere, but primarily in those blue states, the Democrat states. Trump says while singling out California, Illinois, Minnesota, Maine, and New York. Let's just hope that it's not just about investigations, but that justice will be served, because we all know what takes place in a whole lot of those blue Ottopan Biden states. NASA released a breathtaking photo of Earth from the Orion spacecraft as the Artemis 2 crew orbits tens of thousands of miles above the planet. 3 Americans and 1 Canadian are officially moonbound in the first mission to send humans near the lunar surface in over 50 years, aiming to set the stage for a 2028 moon landing and the construction of a permanent lunar base. Now, of course, the flat earthers will have been just going cuckoo yesterday, in spite of the fact that over and over again people have been able to, during debates and so forth, debunk their theories of a little moon right up in the sky, a sun and a moon up in the sky. And when you try to use any sort of diagram to prove that this little sun can be able to shine in all the various areas on Earth, it never works, because when you put it in certain areas, it will shine in certain parts, but certain areas either don't get light at all, other areas get light all the time, and that's something that does not happen in real life. Not to mention, you shift the sun in that little tiny sun in certain areas. As I said before, certain areas, other areas will not get light, and yet that's the only way they will be able to explain how for the seasonal changes. It's ridiculous. The flat Earth theory is ridiculous, and yet a lot of Christians continue to believe that. Boy, it amazes me how Christians falling for that trap. Now for the interesting facts segment. Dubai recently made a symbolic but meaningful shift for Mother's Day. Crown Prince Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed Al Maktoum directed officials to replace the term housewife with generation shaper. Yes, people, to better reflect a mother's true role in society. He described mothers as the first school where children learn values, responsibility, and belonging. It may sound like just words, but language shapes respect and perception. When titles evolve, mindsets often follow. You will have much more respect, value for women, especially mothers. The real question is, will this recognition turn into real support for mothers, or remain a powerful idea on paper? It depends on the culture, people. Depends on the culture, and especially in the Middle East, where jihadist culture tends to show lack of respect for women in general.
Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News Travel Adventures. The Na Pali coast on Kauai is a 17-mile stretch of dramatic, 4,000-foot green cliffs along the north shore, accessible only by sea, air, or a challenging hiking trail. Key experiences include boat snorkel tours, helicopter rides, and hiking the Kalalau Trail. Summer, April-October is best for ocean access, while winter offers higher rainfall and rougher seas. Best ways to experience Napali Coast. Boat tours, catamaran raft, ideal for viewing sea caves, waterfalls and marine life, dolphins, turtles. Often include snorkeling. Helicopter tours offer at $125 to $270 per person, the best views of the inaccessible, razor-ridged peaks. Hiking, Kalalau Trail, a strenuous 18 kilometers 11-mile round-trip hike starting at beach, often muddy and slippery. Kayaking, a summer-only activity that allows close-up access to the coastline and sea caves. Viewpoints, drive to Waimea Canyon/Koki State Park for the Kalalau Lookout or Pu'o-Kila Lookout. Traveler tips. Permits. A permit is required for the full Kalalau Trail and accessing Ha'ina State Park, often requiring booking a month in advance. Best time, April to October, offers calmer ocean conditions, essential for boat and kayak tours. Location, the coast is on the north shore, about 90 minutes from Liui. Safety, the ocean can be rough in winter, hiking trails are strenuous and often muddy. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and we'll see you again tomorrow as our journey around the world continues.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's headline news. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.